What's up? What's up? What's up, people? Back again live. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, things seem to be happening in the law, even though that's just one case that we've heard about here where a mother was sentenced. Now, don't get us wrong. We are not looking for mothers to be thrown in jail, but we are looking for everyone to be treated the same when it comes to the law and breaking it. If you don't know me, my name is Dominic, and this is Pain SA's The Dirty Podcast, where we discuss all the filthy nitty gritties around parental alienation. Today, I have this wonderful father that has gone through a whole lot and that has owned up for his sins, but still being persecuted today. I don't know if he'll ever be able to, clear his name with everybody, but that's not what this is all about. I'll bring Charl on in a moment. What Charl does have is years and years of experience as an attorney, and he's been practicing family law now for 6 years. I'll confirm that in a moment when he comes on. But yeah, if you guys were looking for answers regarding the law, what you should and shouldn't be doing, stay tuned. It's coming up. Hey, Charl, how are you doing today, bro?
Yes, good yourself, man.
Good, good. Can you hear me loud and clear, guys? Just hit the like button. Let us know if the sound is okay, if the feed is okay. All right, awesome. We've got one like there, so everyone can hear us loud and clear. Charl, thank you so much for joining us, man, and thank you for, lawyers are known for charging for everything, but you've been joined by us regular parents through pain, through your own pain, right? So thank you so much for coming on the show today, and being willing to answer some of the questions that uh, so many have, with this whole false allegations and stuff going on. I'd like you just introduce yourself there. Give us a little bit of your background.
Okay, I'm Charl Botha. I was qualified as an attorney and a conveyancer in 2000 and 2000, yes, 2000. I had a successful criminal family law and a conveyancing practice, but during that time, our work just got too much. Me and my partner we got addicted to substances, and just to cope with the workload. And subsequently, we made massive accounting errors, and that led to a suspension and a scrapping from the Law Society. And that happened in 2007, 2008. And since then, I met the mother of my child in 2010. My child was born 2011. And after 5 years, my boy was born in 2016, 3 months old. Got home one night. Um, she packed up with the kids and just left. And then what was the start of false allegations. And I had to, like most fathers, resort to every single resource I could grab my hands on just to fight and see my kids and for justice. False allegations, protection orders, perjury, you name it, I've went through all of it. And since then, I started a company called Family Focused Law and Mediation with a passion to assist fathers in combating this parental alienation syndrome. It evolved through the years. I was also an angry father that fought with emotion, and on social media, I made the rudest comments and blamed everybody until I discovered that, you know what, I'm fighting this battle wrongly. I'm fighting this battle emotionally instead of strategically. Um,
Right, with logic.
but with logic. And if if you fight with logic, you bury the emotions, and it makes life a lot easier.
Absolutely.
The past was thrown against me and it wasn't even during our marriage, the drug abuse and the suspension and everything. But it was brought up, and it was thrown against me,
So it was used as
and
a tool against you.
it was used as a tool against me. Although it never happened during the marriage, or even after the
Wow.
birth of my daughter. And
Wow.
sometimes you feel like you're fighting a losing battle, but then you get to accept the truth and make peace with your past, and that is a new freedom. That is totally, it changes your perspective, it changes your look on life, and the only value you add is making a difference. And I've been dedicating this fight against parental alienation. It was a way of easing my own pain. I mean, my boy was taken when he was 3 months old. He's 5 years now. I've never had the chance to build a proper relationship with him.
Hmm.
And my daughter, I call her 6 o'clock every night, clockwork. Very good relationship with her. Although I don't see them very often, when I see them, I can see there's joy, and they enjoy their father. They enjoy their father
With
more now, not being an angry father.
that's profound. I've also found that not being so frustrated when walking to police stations, you actually get a better reception. So that's just a tip, guys. We know that everyone is angry and frustrated, especially fathers. That we don't. I mean, this happens 90% to fathers. So we're not taking away the alienation syndrome from the woman, but I mean, it's not a
No,
50-50 thing here. Women get their
no,
kids a
no.
lot easier here in South Africa. But yeah, when last have you seen your kids, Shaw?
I've seen them now, mid-December, and we had a very very nice time, and it actually changed the telephone conversations in such a positive way that my daughter now can't wait for me to call at 6 o'clock.
Oh wow.
So having seen it makes a difference in seeing their father happy than seeing their father moping and crying.
Okay, all right. It maybe makes sense as to why my daughter said the last time she saw me that she doesn't want to see me anymore because I'm gonna speak nonsense.
Yes.
Still not a reason, but this is what the alienating parent uses. They get you
Hey,
into that frustrated, angry position, and that's what the child sees. This guy is unstable, and they use that against
and
you.
Dominic, it's normal. You feel
Yeah,
frustrated, you feel heated. It's normal.
it is. You can't
It's
hide
normal.
that, but
You can't hide
we
that.
have to control it somehow.
You have to dig deep to control your emotions,
Yeah.
and especially in front of the kids. They're much more smarter than we can imagine.
Tell me, from your research, what are the psychological effects of parental alienation syndrome that you've picked up?
Well, I've seen it from all different angles because I started off with fathers. My client base grew to some mothers. My client base grew to grandparents, and I have the privilege to see through all angles. And in every single matter, there is psychological trauma, mostly to the alienated parent. I mean, you are being put through a traumatic situation.
All right.
I mean, you have to sometimes just swim to survive. Most of the time, you're financially bankrupt, which adds to it. You're forced to pay maintenance. You're forced to live. Um, um, it's a heavy burden to bear. So most of us, and I can say 99.9% of us, do have psychological trauma we have to deal with as
Right.
fathers, as alienated parents. Then with the children, that's much more severe because as adults we can still sort of cope with our emotional difficulties. The children at their age don't have the mental capacity to deal with this, and it is there where we get a lot of behavioral problems. Um, and a lot of times the alienated parent exploits that.
Right.
And
Why do they exploit
with
that
my
though?
making the kids up against their father, telling lies, false accusations. So this child is told what she or he is told to believe, and they can't disagree with mother because mostly they stay with mother. And if they disagree with mother, they're gonna suffer the consequences.
Right.
It is also called
Sorry,
it's a sort of
there's just a bit of a delay and a click there in the background. I don't know what that clicking sound is there, Shal.
okay. It's killed. I killed that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and there was a bit of there was just a small bit of a delay there, but it's cool. Um, More on the psychological effects. Why do you think that? Because we've already established now that this is mental abuse. But
It is mental abuse.
why does the mother um, abuse the child mentally? What reason does the mother have for doing that?
You know what I found, and I'm not a psychologist, and I'm not a psychiatrist. What I
Yes.
just found from my research, and what I've personally experienced in the field is that it's a sort of not a narcissistic and psychopathic behavior. It is to exercise control over the father. You don't pay me maintenance, you don't see your child. You don't do this, you don't get to spend the weekend. And
Right.
um, I'm sorry, I think that is a sick game to play with the child's head.
I've been told I can't ask certain questions. I can't ask my child why her behavior has changed. I must just accept it. She's getting older now. So
Well,
that means you must disrespect your father.
you must disrespect your father because you as a father, your not only your legal rights, but your rights
Yes.
as a father, as what the Bible says. A
Yeah.
father plays an important role in a child's life. That has been taken away from him.
Yes. So
And
who are the yes, yes, you were sorry, I broke your word there. You were saying?
I don't see. I personally think, and that's my personal view. Most of the time, these women don't know the effect of their behavior.
Right. What effects have you noticed in dealing with cases like this on older kids, like teenagers and those who go into adulthood?
Well, there is definitely a matter of rebellion. There's a matter of anger, confusion, discipline problems because the father is missing from their life. And I'm going to be straight to say that I'm not saying that the father should get all the contact. I'm a firm believer in a child needs both parents. They need to be balanced.
Right.
And that's why I very, very muchly advocate 50-50 parenting. It's not easy to accomplish,
Right.
especially if you have to co-parent with a narcissistic co-parent that wants to control. And that's where you have to exercise your own self-control and you have to grow in your psychological stature to be able to deal with that and not give reaction to every reaction that is thrown your way. Because that's actually what they want. They thrive on that.
Yeah, yeah. Kurt actually made a comment here. Moms forcing kids to call their dads on their name. I spoke to Kurt earlier, and his child is being forced to call him Kurt and not Daddy. That's one of the things that's used just to break men down even further.
And that is influencing the father's role as instituting discipline, which is very important.
It makes sense now why, from generation to generation, it seems like the kids are just becoming worse in terms of discipline. You look back at, I mean, I can look back at when I was a child. I would never speak to an adult the way I see them speaking now, but it's like, yo, it's out of control.
It is a generational problem, but it is being made worse by this effects of parental alienation because I, I think you ran statistics. How many fathers are being alienated? And I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. And a lot of
Well,
fathers are afraid to speak up because um, um, they are in fear of what legal consequences might be.
well, statistics were done more accurately in America, and it showed that there's 22 million alienated parents. That's just the parents. We're not even talking about the extended family. We're not talking about the children themselves. 22 million. So it's something that we still have to run here in South Africa, but it will be done. It will be done.
That
Who
will
are
be
the
interesting.
victims here? It will be.
The victims are the children. The children they grow up confused. I've in my practice I got to see adults that went through it and how they cope with it now in adulthood. And 99% those adults now side with the parent they were alienated from because now they know the full story. But the
Yes.
damage is still there.
So
The
so
damage
in
will
your
never be
in your
erased.
opi- in your opinion, sorry, on that note, in your opinion, is exposing the truth important in these cases?
Exposing the truth is very important. Um, there are ways and means to I'm not saying bad mouth your ex, but your child should know what you are feeling while you are being alienated, why you're not making contact, why you don't want to call them that night because you are hurting. Um, they must see that, and they must see that at the age where they can comprehend that. And
Right. What age is that?
giving them the good. Well, I think a good emotional age is about 16, 17, even up to 18, where they can make decisions on their own and decide, listen, this is not what I was told. The consequences of that are severe trust issues against the alienator because why did you lie to me? Why did you tell me my dad never wanted to see me?
Right.
Why did you tell me my dad was a deadbeat? Why didn't you tell me my dad tried? And
Just a
we
bit
can
of
we
a
can argue as much as we want. There's a void in the child's life without a father.
just a bit of a delay there, Shal. I just want to wait for that to come back up. And while we're just waiting for the connection to correct there, guys, if you have any questions, I will bring it up at the end of the show. We're just going through a couple of questions that we prepared now, but please, if you are currently going through any legal matters yourself right now and you just need some direction, please feel free to ask. Now is your time on the show, and like I said, we'll answer all those questions by the end of the show. uh Shall, in my opinion, with who are the victims of parental alienation, what about the extended family? Because like my 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 child had an amazing relationship with a cousin, older cousin. She's much older than her, but when she comes in here, the first thing she asks is, "Where's Sadie?" And even
Yes,
she has been cut off. So the mother's
yes,
now made up all these stories about me, but what has my family done to
yes.
deserve this?
Extended family as well. I am currently dealing with a matter where one of my fathers died from stress relating to this PAS. The mother is in Durban with the kids, and the grandparents would love to see their grandkids. She refuses, and they're at the old age. So these poor grandparents are deprived of the chance to see their grandchildren. So they are also victims of this parental alienation syndrome, and it is a it is an evil. I call it I call it the monster. It's an evil monster with these tentacles in um, every single tickle of the family. It affects everybody, not only the father, not only the mother, not only the grandparents, the cousins, like you say. Um, everyone is being disadvantaged by one person's selfishness.
Funny enough, I have a friend, and her son was my daughter's best friend, and she's even cut him
Yes,
off. So everyone associated with me is bad. Can you believe that? Can
yes,
you?
that is a normal trend. That is a normal trend. What I find in a lot of these matters, there's a pattern. One alienator behaves exactly like the other one. I don't know what the reason is, but it's actually copy and paste behavior.
Yeah. So why haven't we found a solution for it if it's so copy and paste?
It's so copy and paste that, I think a lot of people don't want to find the solution because they're approaching this the wrong way. Nobody's looking for solutions. They are looking to fight the system because everybody believes it's the system that is the problem.
So what is the best way to deal with parental alienation syndrome if you have been a victim?
The best way to deal with it, I know it's much easier said than done. Firstly, try and take the emotion out of it. Before you tackle the battle, get emotionally stronger. Don't fight the battle on your knees. Don't fight the battle lying on the ground. And I believe working with authorities, educating the authorities, um, and don't go in guns blazing to the family advocate. Don't go in guns blazing to the magistrates. You are angry at them. You feel cheated. But the more aggressive you come across, the less you're going to accomplish.
And why
And we
is
all
that?
mean.
Why is that?
I think because um, aggression creates more aggression. I've had the privilege to work with DOJ, family advocate in certain matters, and I've seen how they approach some of the matters. And where there's aggression and criticism and constant bombardment of accusations, they merely just say, "Well, we're not going to deal with this matter. We're not going to give this guy everything what he deserves because he doesn't want to listen to good advice."
Right. Right. Makes sense. And I fell victim to that as well. You are frustrated. Yes, we do understand. But going in there and swearing at police officers and
Yeah.
and blaming social workers, it didn't help me. It didn't help me at
No,
all.
me no. I was one of them.
Yeah. So um, what what's the next step once you've taken emotion out of it? What do you do then? We're talking about the best way to deal with this.
You sit down and you formulate a clear plan of what problems you are experiencing with solutions without attacking your ex. And
Ah,
sometimes that's the best thing. Sit and plan how you're going to approach this. And if the emotions out, I think your mind is a lot clearer. You can actually formulate some sort of plan. How am I going to deal with this? How am I going to heal myself so I can fight this battle? A very senior high court judge told me once, when I was just starting off with this. I didn't eat. I was in depression. He said, "You know what? Napoleon conquered Europe. What was his downfall? He marched his army on an empty stomach. So if you're weak, you're not going to accomplish anything."
that is profound. That makes, and it's simple. It's
It's
so
simple.
it's about strategizing. Now, once you've come up with a solution and the plan, right? what do you do then?
Well, then you have to approach whatever court, whatever problem you have. Normally, it's a children's court or the family advocate um, with a Form 2 and application and say, listen, I want to come tell my side of the story. And most of the time, they are not as biased against fathers as we tend to believe. Um, if you go in there calmly collected, um, then they must listen to you. And I've seen recently, I've seen some good successes coming from there.
Okay, so
There
step
is a
three,
shift.
guys. Yes,
There
there's
is
a
a
shift.
shift. I, there is a shift. I can see the shift. In the 5 years, the 6th year, I can actually see a shift in where we're going and where we're going with this.
So let me get this right. um most of the time it's and I have actually seen some research on this. It's behavioral issues, right? But instead of us
Yes.
expecting everyone to change, it goes back to the saying that you can't stop what happens to you. You can't control what
No.
happens to you. What you can control is how you respond to it.
How you respond to it.
Okay. So
You,
step three here, guys, is if you're watching this, and if you got any questions, please type them in. We're almost at the end of this, where we're gonna open up for questions. But yeah, complete a form too, so you can tell your side of the story and do so calmly. Approach the children's court. This is obviously not all the steps, but this is where you're gonna start. All right.
this is the
But
story.
most importantly, uh, take emotion out of it first of all. Think clearly. No one thinks clearly. No one makes clear decisions when you're angry and upset and swearing and enraged. No one has made any informed decisions that way. And then come up with solutions, not just complaints. You telling your side, this is what is happening to me, this is what is wrong, but this is how I feel we can solve it. And if it makes sense,
Yes.
the thing is, we need to make sense to everyone, then it can be implemented. And on paper, am I right by saying that becomes your court order then, or your
That becomes your
parenting
court
plan?
order. The parenting plan. It can be mediated, and a
Mhm.
parenting plan is once it's a court order or registered with the family advocate, it is enforceable. It
Right.
cannot be broken.
Right. Now I know that some people watching this would be saying, but I've got the court order, I've got the parenting plan. It's not worth the paper it's written on, and so many fathers feel that way as well. What's the right way to approach the court then when you have the paperwork in place? I've got the court order myself, but I'm actually seeing where I went wrong. I went in there guns blazing. The clerk and I had a fight,
Done.
and I've never heard from them. So, yeah, my fault.
If you've got a court order, a parenting plan that's made a court order, and it
Yeah,
is being breached, you do have recourse to criminal court with contempt of court proceedings. I've tried it a couple of times. I've succeeded. A friend of mine now in Bloemfontein got it right. He's got his wife criminal record, his ex-wife a criminal record for breaking the parenting plan. So contempt of court criminal charges can be instituted. A lot of people don't know the power behind the court order.
yes. All right, and then simply, can you share with us the secret of how to institute it, how to actually get it effected?
Well, that is perseverance because um, contempt charges and perjury, the police don't want to investigate. So you have to basically do all the work for them. And once you did all
Right,
the work, do all the work for them, you go to the police station and to lay formal contempt of court charges. That goes to the prosecutor. They might not want to prosecute, which costs you more perseverance to prove that the court order was broken until they agree to prosecute. And once you get a person breaking a court order in criminal court, it is much different than fighting your ex in maintenance court or in children's court, because there you fight for your freedom and the criminal record. And then the tides are turned. I mean, you can't turn the truth on its head in a criminal court. It's very, very, very difficult.
yes, right. I presume different judge, different magistrate there, different mindset.
Definitely, it's criminal. It's not civil or it's not children's. So you are coming with a criminal charge.
So how do you deal with false allegations? False allegations are common in
False
these
allegations,
cases.
false allegations destroys a lot of fathers. It destroys a lot of relationships. I've seen it so many times. I have been trying to institute proper perjury charges for false allegations, and my belief is that if you lay a false statement at the police accusing a father of false molestation or any other act of violence for that matter, you should be prosecuted for making a false statement because you are wasting police resources, state resources, in investigating your lie. Once that has been proven that you've lied, you should be charged with perjury and tried in a criminal court. It is still an
We
offense.
Now we've heard that before. We know what should be done, but it just doesn't happen. Why are women not charged for perjury?
You know what? I wish I could answer that question for you. I've been trying for 5 years to get the criminal justice system to recognize perjury. I've been hammering at the NPA's door to listen to me, to give me an answer. No one can give me an answer. And I'm still trying to find a loophole, to find a successful perjury prosecution because in common law it's there. It must be prosecuted. And mostly they say we can't send a woman to jail. But always used this example. If you go lay a false statement at the police station that your car's been hijacked and it tends to be false, what do? Arrest you for making a false statement. It should be the same.
Right, right. I mean, women I know have been arrested for fraud. They go to jail.
Yes, they go
You
to
commit
jail.
a murder. Okay, so in that case, then should women be allowed to murder and not go to jail?
Well, that
Where do we
seems to
draw
be the
the
tendency
line?
now. Without discriminating, if they can get away with perjury, the common cause is they can get away with anything. And that should not be. We are living in a society where there's equal rights. And I think what is
Should
good for the
be.
goose is good for the gander.
Yep. Final question here, Charl. Is there a solution for a breach in the parenting plan?
If your parenting plan, there's a lot of parenting plans that are not orders of court or registered to the family advocate. Only those two have recourse to contempt charges. And there's a way. If your ex breaches the parenting plan, well, not the first time run to the police station, give her some rope.
Yeah.
Let her breach it the second time, third time, fourth time, sixth time,
And she will
and
breach
then
it.
you
She
go.
will definitely breach it.
She will breach it. She will breach it. Then you go to the police station, formulate a proper affidavit as how what has happened, and make them and stay on their necks to prosecute this matter because it is contempt of court.
But going back, take the emotion out of it. Come
Take the
up with a
emotion out of it.
solution or plan, and also do everything calmly. Do not go in there
Calmly, calmly.
demanding. Make sense. Make sense of the matter.
Makes sense.
Tell them why. Sell it to them. We have to become salespeople here in
Sell
this
it to
thing.
them.
It seems like it.
Yes, sell it to them.
All right.
Convince them why
I've
should they prosecute.
yeah. I've got some good sales skills. Just I've never used it in the police station. I'm gonna start using my sales skills now.
Yes, well,
So we're gonna open up for questions here, guys. I don't see any comments from anyone. Seems like everyone knows their own legal matters here. But when we're offline, then there's a whole lot of people complaining online and going on to groups and crying, "Ooh, help, help, help! Here's the help now." So yeah, my viewers know that I'm very straightforward. We don't have time for. We want to solve problems here. We don't want to just complain. Fine, that's the start of it. Complaining, it's getting your feelings, your story out there. But now we now need to we need to fix it. Now how do we do that? Okay,
come on,
Archie,
come on.
Archie is asking, where can one report a magistrate that is severely compromised and who issued a false interim protection order?
Well, there is a complaint form on the Department of Justice website that sends you to the Magistrates Commission, and they will listen to your complaint. They will, if you fill in the form, lay the complaint. The Magistrates Commission will entertain your complaint and will give you feedback. So they are not also above the law. They are also subject to a governing body reporting to the Department of Justice.
You say that's on the Department of Justice website?
Yes, the DOJ's website. It's on there. Magistrates Commission.
Come, let's pull it.
And you can lay it.
Sorry, I broke your word there.
No, I said Magistrates Commission, and you can lay a complaint there.
Okay, I'm on the website here. Let's just help Archie out quickly here.
Just look for Magistrates Commission.
Oh. Search results. Let's just go straight to Google here. Magistrates.
For Magistrates Commission, and there should be a link and the complaint form. There we go.
Lodge a complaint. There we go. Okay, Archie, does that sort your, well, at least give you an answer to that? Archie says thank you. I'm actually posting that in the chat, okay, Archie, so you don't have to still spend any time looking for that. You can just click on the link there, okay? That will lead you straight to that point. Any other questions, guys? If we don't have questions, then we're going to end off early. So please do ask any questions right now. Pleasure, Archie. That's what we're here for. And please keep us also posted, Archie, with the outcomes of that. Sometimes the right way and things that we report still goes unnoticed, and I've heard of some things, all right, but that's what this is all about. We need to put things out in the open. Okay.
Just a tip for Archie.
Yes.
Just a tip for Archie. Once you reported your complaint, give it about 6 weeks and follow it up. Don't let it just die.
Right.
Just follow
why
up.
6 weeks?
That gives them about a reasonable time. I know they're overloaded, and we don't want to be too forward. I mean, understand their circumstances as well. Give it about 5 to 6 weeks, and then just follow up on your complaint. Has anybody looked at my complaint again? Not swearing at them because you haven't got a response yet. Just a general inquiry.
Right.
Nothing wrong with it.
Just following up. Definitely follow up with sales. I'm just speaking from a sales perspective. Forgive me, guys. This has nothing to do with parental alienation. But if you don't follow up with the sale, you don't make the sale. So often that's where sales fall through. People just want to give you put the product in front of you. Okay, if you don't want to buy, go to the next person. No. Put the product, plant the seed, water the plant. Every time you're just watering until it grows into something. But we walk away before the thing before it sprouts. We walk away. We've got another comment coming in here. Okay, it's still from Archie. Yes, I understand. Thanks. Is there anything else? Any other questions? Anyone want to come on? We're gonna end off probably in 10 minutes if no one asks any questions. Or I think I may have actually the other day when you and I spoke, Charl, I think you solved my problem within 2 minutes there. And it was exactly this talk that we had now. It has been a real pleasure having you on here. I hope that everyone agrees. Please leave a comment if you found some value. Did you find value? Here we've got another question. Right, Riaz asks, what happens after the parenting plan was made a court order and X comes up with a second false molestation case against you?
Riaz, I actually know Riaz very well. Um, you know what? This is prominent. And normally the molestation cases are being investigated by the CPU or the CP, Child Protection Services, the forensic
Right,
services of the
CPS.
police.
Right.
CP, yeah. So what I do, and I had a lot of these, I approached the senior commander of the local cluster of the Child Protection Services. Go face them, correct? Go face them head on and say, listen, here I am. What are the charges? These are my statements. I believe my ex is making a false charge. I've seen this a lot, and fathers go through hell with this. That is no easy case to defend. I actually just lost one father
It's
now.
humiliating. Yeah.
It's humiliating. I just lost one father now due to a massive heart attack that was found innocent after he was being accused. And it's the most horrific thing a parent can do, but it is a tactic. It's also a form of copy and paste behavior. If I was Riaz and I would go to the investigating officer, give my full cooperation, ask for the J88, ask for the investigation that was made by it's either the Deribet clinic or some sort of clinical doctor, and push for, are you going to prosecute or not? If not, if you're not going to prosecute me, withdraw the charges. That's how I dealt with this in a couple of my matters. And once they're put on the spot and they see you're not going to back down, they actually put some effort into it. But go to SAP's command, not your constable investigating it.
I'm going to ask
Yeah,
a
Joseph.
question on behalf of Riaz. What if they falsely arrest him? I don't know if that's a thing, if that is possible. But
That
what if
happens.
they
They falsely arrest him. They falsely arrest him, and
like
unfortunately, there's nothing
like
you
he
can
goes
do.
like he goes in as you've explained now, but then they arrest him.
They can't arrest him without the arrest warrant. And if they're not looking for him, but he can go to make his statement and to tell his side of the story. They're going to arrest him inevitably. If you're going to find him at his work or his home or whatever. But going in and
Okay.
saying, listen, I want to clear my name.
Right. So he says
Confront.
he has gone in and he's given his statement, but they actually called him in for fingerprints and DNA. Is this a good thing?
It is not a good thing. Once they take DNA and fingerprints, um, the DNA gets matched. Now, if there was a J88 investigation into the sexual molestation, they are going to compare the DNA. So it's a good and a bad thing. If there's no DNA that compares him to the charges, then the state's case is automatically going to fold. But
And
it's
then
also an
what can he
intimidation.
do after this false? Yeah,
Well,
sorry, I just broke
he
your
has
word there.
to
You said
write
it's
this.
also intimidation.
It's intimidation. It breaks the father down more. Um, um, he has to run this whole thing through the prosecutor because after this docket is going to go to the prosecutor to decide on the prosecution. Unfortunately, you can't do anything before that. Once it comes back that the matter is going to be prosecuted, um, he can prepare his defense. But most of this time, if you work with them and you question the evidence, they issue a nolli prosecute, which means they decline to prosecute.
Right.
But now that also just withdraw the charges. Nothing stops the mother from relodging the charges at the later stage. That's also one of my fights with the NPA as to why do not dismiss these charges and charge the mothers for making a false statement. Because if there's no proof of molestation, how is it going to stand up in court? Remember, you still
So
have your proof beyond reasonable doubt.
here's exactly what Riaz is saying. It's his second rodeo. First time it was withdrawn, and they also did fingerprints. So
Exactly.
I've got another question. Two questions actually. Nadia asks, at which point do you take a lawyer to court with you when going at it alone doesn't work?
I have this personal thing that magistrates like to tell you find legal representation. It's not always necessary. You can self represent yourself. But normally you find a parent with money will rock up there with a lawyer and they will intimidate you. And it's a legal tendency. The magistrate will listen to the legal expert instead of the normal layman. Criminal procedure law dictates that if a person defends himself, he should be assisted by the magistrate. That
Yes.
doesn't normally happen. That doesn't normally happen. They actually force you to get legal representation, whether you can afford it or not. So once things are going very sour for you, I think it's time to look for legal representation because the magistrate is going to force you. And fighting the magistrate on your constitutional right to defend yourself, that's going to make things worse for yourself because you're just going to have a very pissed off magistrate.
Yeah. So, on that note, I hope that answers your question there, Nadia. Like, I've also self-represented, and I think it goes on your level of understanding of the law. So I did a lot of studying before I actually went to go and represent myself for a protection order. And instead of I just got them to throw in the towel because they didn't expect to be kept there for 3 hours being cross questioned. So it was frustrating for them. They came in with one piece of evidence. I came in with 30, with a stack of 30, and I just asked question after question, and all the questions pointed the finger back at them with the same thing they tried to allege against me, and that was with a lawyer. So I went in without a lawyer. They did. They went in with a lawyer. So I think also to answer your question there, Nadia, is at which level do you understand the law? If you studied these
Oh,
things, the law is there for all of us. But do you have the time and the patience to go through all of that and put your case together? Because sometimes you take, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Charl, sometimes you take pieces of different laws to actually build a case. It's not
oh,
just
definitely.
Children's
I
Act
mean,
and that's it.
it's not the Children's Act. Everything has to be pieced together. It's law of evidence. It's court proceedings. It
Contractual
is
law.
contractual law. It is. There's a lot of things that have to be pieced together. So
Yeah.
sometimes you do need a legal expert to guide you on the right track. And it's not easy. I mean, if it was easy, we all would have been lawyers. But with the correct preparation, it can be done. A magistrate doesn't like someone to come there and waste their time. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
And
Right.
they don't have time to assist people, and that is mostly why they refer them to bring a legal practitioner.
Archie's got another question here, and he asks, can a lawyer interfere and make changes to a parental plan that was set up by a acting mediator?
Well, if this parenting plan was already made to order of a court, he cannot. But coming from a legal background, and I'm gonna say it as it is, a lot of lawyers
Right?
like to play God. They will tell you that we're gonna come take your children tonight, and people tend to believe them.
And
Lawyers
it
will
can't
tell
be
you we
done.
can change your plan, and people will believe them.
Right.
And that is the intimidating factor that they use. And it's not necessarily needed or true, but people are ignorant and they believe it.
So by ignorant, Shaw means that just study up, know your rights,
Study up,
learn,
know your rights.
research. Google is here, guys. We need to, but that's not saying that you shouldn't you should stop the questions from coming. We've got 10 more minutes and then we're going to end off. Here's another question here from Brandon Silius. He asks, what tactics and avenue can be used when the ex's lawyers are clearly helping a alienated, create delays, etc., to ensure that the legal team have to stick to their mandate of acting in the children's best interest of the children, render her legal team useless from abusing the law, etc., to help her achieve her goal?
Brandon, um, that question comes up a lot because lawyers litigate for money. They don't litigate for moral, and they don't litigate few of them, I don't want to blanket all of them. Few of them litigate for the best interest of the child. Lawyers litigate for money. The longer they can keep the case running, the more money they make. And
Right.
my experience is that causes more trauma to all parties involved. It's not in the best interest of the child because the child's psychological trauma is being drawn out without coming to a closure. Um, the recourse is a lot of people complain to the LPC, but I've yet to have to see a lawyer being prosecuted or disciplined with such a question, with such a complaint. So most of the time they get away with it because family law is actually a money-making business in South Africa. A lot of people misuse it. Some people really have the moral value to stand up for what's in the best interest of the child, but that is the minority. So one, especially when there's a legal team involved, I mean, that must be costing a fortune, and that money could have been best spent on the child and making the child's life better and in improving the circumstances.
Absolutely.
But it's also emotional. The ex is fighting out of an emotional battle. Why would you bring a whole legal team to try and destroy this poor guy who's a children's father? That is
So I hope
overkill.
that answers. I hope that answers your question there, Brennan. In short, Brennan is asking which tactics, and I don't know if you want to keep using tactics, you need. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Charl. I'm just making a statement here. It's again about knowing your rights. It's about knowing what you've got already on paper, what you can prove,
Yes,
and then I mean you can fight this thing on your own if you want to
you can
avoid
fight it.
spending money on lawyers, but it takes time. There's a reason why lawyers study 7 years, am I right?
Yes, it takes time, and the lawyer's mandate will be not to act in the child's best interest, but to defend the client and to act in the child's best interest.
Yes, exactly, and that's where we missed the point. It's this feud and fight, and this one is winning and the other one doesn't want to lose, but again in the child's best interest. You know what I wish?
Yes,
I wish that the family of the alienating parent can actually step in and say, stop this mess. Just please let the father or let the mother see the child. How up? You just hurting this child, and they are going to turn out probably just like you, which
yes.
is yeah,
No,
it's crazy. It's so Brennan is saying that she went to high court, and as director level lawyer and senior advocate, yes, it's costing a fortune. So there we go.
she's trying.
This
She's
is
trying
money
to out litigate him with money. Money. She's trying to out
just
litigate him with money and bankrupt him.
wow. There you got it. Does that answer your question? So you might as well go to the casino and just throw your money in there, and
Yes,
you've got better chances. Stop the fighting. Stop the fighting in
yes.
courts.
That's where the money
Find a way.
goes, and
Yeah.
it's often that the parent with the most money does win the battle because they can afford the best legal representation. And heaven forbid you get a cost order against you, then you're screwed for life. Then you have to pay 500, 600,000 rand back, despite of what you've lost already.
So what would Brandon feels a bit well demotivated here. He's saying so basically there is no recourse. He says that the lawyer has avoided the court for 14 months and in essence kept the kids away for that long as well. So what advice could you give Brandon just to stop all of this?
I could give Brandon the advice to find a proper social worker organization in his area. Um, I know some of them are far and few to come across by, and address this problem through the social worker. because fighting the battle in the High Court, and I'm not going to, how I think, I'm not going to give false hope. Fighting this
Yes.
battle in the High Court is going to result in a loss. Better is finding a social work solution or even a mediation solution.
Know when to pull out, Brennan. I'm sure you're an intelligent guy. Most fathers that I've met who are alienated are not. We not stupid people, but we fall into these stupid tactics and we end up looking like idiots. So
Yes,
know when to pull out, and I don't mean that. I know what's crossing some people's minds, but that's not what I mean. Knowing when to pull out, know when to course correct. Change your strategy.
yes.
If you've been doing
Change
the
your
same
strategy.
thing for 14 months, then something's
If,
got to give.
if
You
it's
need to
not
try something different.
if it's not working, change.
Yeah. Nadia says, unfortunately, most family members, parents are supporting the parent doing the alienation, and that is true, Nadia.
That is true.
Um,
That
my
is
my
true.
ex's my ex's mom has alienated her from her father, and it's just happening to our child. So yes, that is true, but this
It
is
is true.
one way of sorting that out. Putting all this out there is the first way. The children will know the truth sooner or later. So
Sooner or
any
later.
parents coming on to this show, this lives on social media, and as long as you come on here and you tell the truth, this is not the place where you come and oust your ex and try to play the same dirty game. No, this is you sharing your story and your pain. All right, we're gonna end off soon. Brandon says that's been exactly what he's done. I had a private social worker appointed to observe my current 3 hours a week. Reports clearly showing what's happening. So yes, build that evidence,
That's
build your case.
build your case.
Right. Derek says, there we go. Change of strategy is a good idea. And I've spoken to Derek early. He's got an amazing success story after. I'm not going to spoil it because we're going to save that for his interview. But he spent a crap load of money and then decided to self litigate by educating himself about the law. So these things happen. I've done it myself. Um, I right now I'm not running to children's court anymore. The thing we can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Albert
No,
Einstein said it's insanity, people.
it's
So
insanity.
there we go. Anything in closing? I think we're going to close off for questions, but whether you're watching this live or you are watching the replay of this, please do leave your questions. And on the next show, Charl, tell me, are
Yes,
you open to coming on like weekly to because this is a hot topic for many parents.
yes, yes. I think it'll be nice, and I think if we can educate people this way and get through to them to change strategy and use different approaches, and every week we can look at something else, look at a new approach, what someone tried, what someone failed. In my experience, I had a lot of failures to find certain loopholes, but it is trial and error. You have to try the system, see where you fail, see where you succeed, see who's listening to you, see who's not.
Right.
So it'll be a pleasure to come on
Do
and
more of
assist.
what works. Do more of what works and less of what doesn't. Trial and
Yes,
error.
yes, yes.
Riaz, just before we close off here, Riaz seems to think that this, and correct me if I'm wrong, Riaz, you seem to think that this is a lose for you. The social worker had it in a report that the child is being coached and groomed. I see this as a win, even if the judge didn't see it right now. How can a judge be changed? Can you see? Can you request to see another judge there, Shaw?
That is very difficult, especially if it's a judge and not a magistrate. If it's been heard in the High Court, taking on the matter on appeal would be a very, very expensive exercise. But it can also be,
Is
it
it
can again be referred to the family advocate to reinvestigate and see and lodge the private social worker report that grooming was effective, because grooming is also emotional abuse. You're tampering with a child's mind.
It's the same thing that sexual abusers do. It's the same thing that kidnappers do. They groom you and
Yeah,
they keep your mind captive. So yes, it is child
keep your
abuse.
mind captive.
On that note, we are going to end off. Anything in closing that you want to say to the audience here, Charl?
I would just like to say to the parents that are fighting this battle, it's not an easy battle. Saying taking the emotion out of it is a very very difficult thing to do. It took me 5 years to take the emotion out of it. So I'm not just saying it's a quick fix, but work on
Yeah.
yourselves before you try and solve the problem. Because fighting this battle emotionally is only going to sink you more, make you look bad, and we are men. We are filled with testosterone. We are tend to get angry. It's normal, but we have to learn to
Yes.
control
We
our
we, we
emotions.
actually we actually taught to get angry from
Yes,
from childhood. You taught to stand up for yourself and fight. But there's different ways of
but
doing so as well. I believe. Riaz is
different
just
ways.
saying thank you. And Riaz says it was a magistrate and not a judge there, Ishal.
Yes, well,
Right?
that makes it a bit easier. That makes it a bit easier. He can again approach the Magistrates Commission and lay this complaint with, if he's got proper social worker reports proving that, he can submit that to the Magistrates Commission and say, listen, I want this magistrate recused from my matter.
Okay. Perfect. I hope that answers your question there, Riaz. It should answer your question. That's the only one that makes sense. In any case, guys, thank you for joining. If you'd like to come on and tell your story, please just type story in the comments. Okay, you'll come on a live broadcast. You're going to answer a couple of questions there for your interview. We're going to get your story together and come on here. I think that's the well, from the feedback that I've gotten from parents, it's the first step to healing, getting your feelings out there and then getting some advice on how to deal with things. And again, it just helps talking. Keeping things closed
I,
and trying to figure out by yourself will never work. Charlie, you
no.
wanted to say?
I just want to say that you were perfectly correct in saying that I think the first step in tackling this is focus on your own healing. Um, I think focusing on yourself, trying to heal the anger instead of feeling the anger. It makes you more clear-headed and fighting the battle in a totally different way.
Absolutely. And on that note, we've actually got that episode tomorrow. We're going to talk about how to start healing even while you're going through the alienation process. I haven't seen my child since August, but I wake up with a clear mind, ready to help others. So that's one of the that's just a teaser. That's one of the things that we're going to talk about is focus on someone else's problems and you'll see how easy it becomes to deal with your own.
Yes.
All right. Shal, thanks so much for joining us. If you can just stay a minute after the broadcast, I'm gonna end off now, guys. Again, if you want to come onto the show, just type story in the chat or the comments. If you're watching on Facebook, on the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, in the chat, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thank you.